Hello, my name is Amber Darby, and today I will be defending my research paper, The Effects of the American Economy During World War II. The main question that I'll be addressing is what were the positive and negative effects on the American economy during and after World War II. When World War II was declared in 1939, America had both the necessary funds as well as the raw materials needed to fight or at least support the war. However, they refused to get involved until the attack of Pearl Harbor in 1941. When America declared war, they were able to get the billions of dollars in funds, as well as the loyalty of the people through labor, service, and production. This war not only shaped the way Americans thought about each other and other races, but it completely changed the economy both positively and negatively. Also, minorities such as women and people of color, they benefited greatly from the war despite the ongoing discriminations. A majority of my research findings came from the annual government budget. These proposals had the desired budget as well as to where exactly these funds would be going to. This is important because in 1941, the funds were small and went to programs at home. However, in 1942, the budget was in the billions and was completely centered on war. Another part of the research findings came from Andrew Edmund Kirsten's Labor Home Front, the American Federation of Labor during World War II. This source is important for the second and third arguments since they specifically discuss labor and its influence in the war. This source showed both the positives and the negatives of the labor force during the war. The final source of my research findings is Pierre G. Kurt in his editing of The United States in World War II, a documentary reader. This source is important because it provided personal accounts of the economic circumstances that occurred in America during the war. Now, according to my research findings, America had both the necessary funds as well as the raw materials needed to fight or at least support World War II when it was declared in 1939. However, because of the circumstances that occurred in World War I and the Great Depression, America at first refused to get involved a second time. However, when they did declare war in 1941, the government proposed a $17.5 billion budget, which would continue to increase up to $100 billion in 1945. Furthermore, they were able to obtain production, service, and labor. The production and industries that produced the raw materials had an economic boom as a result of this war. However, there was a fear that the government would attempt to control the businesses and eventually damage the economy. In the labor force, unemployment at this point was almost completely gone thanks to the war. Um, Minorities such as women, people of color, and immigrants now had the opportunity to work in the labor force or serve in the armies. Some of them also had opportunities to work in unique positions that were usually restricted to just white men, or just white people, or just men. However, there was still discrimination in these areas, as well as labor strikes and a severe lack of labor safety. When the war finally ended, America was one of the strongest countries in the world economically. the U.S. production had created one of, if not the greatest Navy and merchant marines in the world. In fact, the American economy was so stable that they were able to help out all the other European nations that participated in the Marshall Plan. However, with the war costing the country $300 billion, not to mention the loss of life, it was considered more imperative for America to start anew and to ensure that a war such as this never occurred again. Thank you.